Well, hello. Today is Monday, December 9th, 2019, and I am Angela Hooper-Menifield of Menifield Associates, and this is your HR moment. And so today I am happy to say it's Monday, and we had a great weekend. I actually had our last official class with our SHRM certification team, or the group that I've been working with. I think it was 11 students in the class over at St. Joseph's College in Brooklyn. And so now it's time for those individuals to take their certification exam. So I'm really looking forward to hear how that goes. This is a busy week for me, and so my times will probably be a little different this week. I know usually I try to be in between that 5-6 p.m., but today was the second Monday, so it was being our President's Roundtable, doctor's appointments. I have a couple of calls starting at 4, and so it was time for me to jump on the live because I did not want to miss again today. And so today I would love to talk about, because I know someone who's had this issue, and then we've just seen it played out recently in the media, and that's how you should deal with questions that are asked of you when the answer may not be a positive reflection of your team. So if you were to, theoretically answer the question and tell the truth, unfiltered, it could potentially make someone on your team not look as positive. And so the live demonstration of this was last night. I didn't see it live, but I saw it on ESPN, where the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland shows up a lot in my in my HR moments, but he was asked a question about another player on the team whose name is Odell Beckham, and he is a all-star receiver. And he began to mention how his care had not been handled properly by the organization, and even went further to discuss how the medical staff specifically had not done it properly. Well, needless to say, Twitter, social media, all the sports commentators, and everybody just, they just went with it. And then later, of course, now he's trying to backtrack and say, hey, I wasn't trying to throw anybody under the bus. When you are asked questions, and the answer may have a negative effect or show someone on your team in a negative light, you have to be cognizant of how you respond. Now, I'm never suggesting that we lie, because if you know me, I operate in integrity. I will tell you the truth. But telling the truth should not come at the expense of other people. And so if someone asks you a question, there's always a diplomatic way to tell the truth, and or just not respond, or perhaps just acknowledge that more facts need to be gathered. Maybe it's not your place to respond because it's really not your health in this particular situation. But the point I'm making is what Baker did was a perfect example of what not to do, even if he's 100% right. Let's just say the medical staff did handle this improperly. The first thing any leader worth any salt or any supervisor should do is take that concern to upper management. And so if I believe that something has not been handled properly, then I should bring that to the powers that be and express my concerns. Now, again, in this particular situation, he's actually a third party anyway, but let's just say it was his own health. You go to the people who have the authority to make it right. You also take it to the people who you are accusing of not doing the right thing. Because when that happens, they have an opportunity to fix it. But when we say negative things about people, again, even if they're true, right? If we're supposed to be on the same team, this is not a good way to create team harmony or consistency. Because these team members now are blindsided. One, because oftentimes they didn't know you were going to say this. But two, they feel betrayed. Because what you said indicated they weren't doing their job properly, and or shows them in a negative light. And so when we see things that need to be addressed, and I am in no way suggesting that teams are perfect and that everybody does everything right all the time. Trust me, I don't do it right all the time, and I think I'm pretty good at knowing what to do. But there's a separation between knowing what to do and what we do. Again, because if we knew what to do, we would all be, I say skinny, but I use that word as a joke, but skinny, rich, and happy, right? Because we know how to not waste our money. We know how to eat right. We know how to do these things. There are more, TV shows, articles, websites on all these subjects. Yet that's not the story for most of us. So knowing what to do and what we do are two different things. And so if the person doesn't bring that to us and say, hey, I don't feel like this was handled properly, then one, how do we get the awareness that they have an issue with what we're doing? But secondly, it does not destroy our trust with them. John talks about often, and one of my favorite books of his, again, is Many Communicate, Few Connect. I actually have my mastermind tonight at 7 on that book. But John talks about often that trust, that rapport, treating people as they matter and giving them the respect, because it doesn't take you to betray them or make them feel like they were thrown under a bus one time. And those people aren't going to trust you again. In many work environments, I try to operate on the premise that everybody starts at trust and then the trust is lost. But let's just be honest, everybody doesn't operate that way. Some people operate under the premise that trust has to be earned to start with. And so if you have people who have that mindset, and I'm not saying one is any better than the other, I'm just telling you what I try to do. And you do something like that and say they didn't do their job and it wasn't handled properly, and you never had the conversation with them, you may have lost them forever. And if it's not forever, it'll be a long time before you become fully, brought back into the fold of trust. And so, what's the Covey? Speed of trust. And Franklin Covey, that's what he talks about when he talks about the speed of trust. And as trust improves, the team grows, leadership expands, because again, we start with lack of trust or at best neutrality for many of us. So the speed of trust is very important. So when asked questions that may be difficult and ask questions that would have a negative impact depending on how you respond on other people on your team, we have to be tactful. We have to be very deliberate as to not say negative things about people, especially if we've never had that conversation with them. And I think that's the key part. All these conversations should always be had first with the party, the peer, the supervisor, the team member, the direct report to whom you believe dropped the ball or did not do what was expected, and then also elevate it to the level of someone who can address it. But it should never be first reported in the media, in the news, to a public audience, because that brings about, again, the feeling of being blindsided. And I can promise you, as a person who has supervised a lot of people, being blindsided is like one of my personal pet peeves. I'm even like that with my child. I'm like, I don't care how bad you messed up or what you did. Don't let nobody else tell me about it, right? Let me hear it from you. And so it's the same thing as a leader. Again, when asked questions, we don't lie. We operate in integrity. But we always try to be a good team member, a teammate to our team. So we don't embarrass people, we don't throw them under buses, and we definitely don't do those things in public. Okay? So again, my name is Angela Hooper-Menifield. Today is Monday, December 9th, 2019. This has been your HR Moment. Tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what time I'm doing a workshop, DISC workshop, and a leadership facilitation with a team. So we may do it at a break session or something like that. And the rest of the week we'll kind of see, because Thursday and Friday I'm in retreat mode too. And last but not least, my local people, Friday evening, 6 p.m., I'll be speaking at the mayor's family meeting. He regularly does meetings for the men group where he speaks at, and I think separate meetings for women. And this time it's going to be joint. So it's called a family meeting for the city. And I will be one of the speakers there. So if you're here locally in Newark, New Jersey, come out and support me. I'd love to have you there. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.